Make it. All right, number 4. First, combine any like terms that I have. I don't have any like terms that are on the same side. The 5c is on one side, the 4c is on the other. Okay? So then what I'm going to do is, second step, eliminate my variable term that's on the right side. To eliminate this, to zero that out, I need to subtract 4c, subtract 4c. 5c minus 4c is 1c, minus 6 equals 0. I am now looking at solving a two-step equation, only it really is a one-step. So to undo subtract 6, we are going to add 6. And I get 1c is equal to 6. And that is our answer. Because we want to know what c is equal to. Number 5. Notice I have a constant and variable on the left side, a constant and variable on the right side. My process is going to be the same though. Combine any like terms that I can't combine like terms. I don't have like terms on the same side. Okay, so step 2 is going to be eliminate the variable on the right side. So how do I eliminate the variable on the right side? I have to subtract 5x. So subtract 5x. And then when I subtract it over here, I'm not subtracting it from the 9, I'm subtracting it from the 3x. So I'm subtract 5x. So please write your subtract 5x where you're subtracting it from and not just some random spot. Make sure you know where you're subtracting it. So I'll have a negative 9. 3x minus 5x is a negative 2x. Okay, so it's plus a negative 2x. Or some people might have a minus 2x here. But again, I want plus a negative 2x. And that is going to equal then over here, this zeroes out, so I just have the 5. You have to understand the subtract 5x from both sides and what you get. Because once you've done that step, you have a two-step equation, which you should know how to solve if you've been doing your homework. Two-step equation, I have to get rid of my minus 9 here, so I'm going to add 9. And that's a negative 2x. If you had a minus 2x, you still have to remember to write the minus. Common mistake is for people to forget this minus or negative in front of the 2x. And then you'll get the wrong sign. And then that is equal to 14. To undo the multiplying by negative 2, we divide by negative 2. Another common mistake people do is they forget to write the negative here with this. This is a negative 2x. You have to divide by a negative 2. So then you get x equals a negative 7. Number 6, there's a lot of subtracting in it. I'm going to remember to rewrite all my subtracting to adding the opposite this time. I didn't in one of my other problems. So I have a negative 5x plus a negative 8 is equal to a negative 5 plus a negative 6x. For the people who struggle a little bit with the pluses and minuses and the negatives and adding and subtracting those values, it will help you if you rewrite. Combine any like terms that I have. On the left side, I have a variable term and a constant term, so there's nothing to combine. On the right side, again, I have a variable term and a constant term, there's nothing to combine. So I go to my next step, which is eliminate variable on the right side. I want to eliminate this. To do that, I have to add 6x. That'll give me 0 there. Okay? So I add 6x over here. This will give me 1x plus a negative 8 is equal to the negative 5. Now I have a two-step or one-step, some people might recognize it. So I'm going to add or subtract here to get this to be 0. I'm going to add 8. So I have 1x or x is equal to 3. And that is our answer. All right, number 7. First step I'm going to do is rewrite subtracting to adding the opposite. So this is 8 plus a negative 5d equals a negative 2 plus 6 plus a negative 7d. My next step, I get to do it this time, is combine like terms. Notice I have my two constant terms on the right side. I can combine those into a single term. Okay, so this will be 8 plus negative 5d equals negative 2 plus 6 is 4 plus a negative 7d. Now, if you followed how to do these two problems, 5 and 6, number 7, to finish, it's just like 5 and 6. Okay? I am going to eliminate the variable on the right side. To do that, I have to add 7d. And then I add 7d. So I'm going to have 8, negative 5d plus 7d will be plus 2d equals my 4, and this zeroes out. That's why I did it. So I just get equals to 4. Now I have a two-step equation. I will solve my two-step equation. Subtract the 8. And I'm left with 2d equals negative 4. I have 2d, divide by 2, divide by 2, and I get d equals negative 2. You see if you can do number 8 before I do it. You see if you can do number 8 before I do it. What quiz was it? I don't even know. We'll figure it out. All right, combine like terms. I don't have any to combine. So then I eliminate the variable on the right side. So I'm going to subtract 16W. Hopefully everybody subtracted 16W first. We'll have a -4 plus 1W equals a -20. To eliminate my -4, I have to add 4. And we have 1W is equal to a -16. Just out of curiosity, how many people got a -16? All right, a little over half the class. Very good. All right, number 9. Hopefully you recognize we are going to have to do what to start this problem. And I'm not talking about changing, adding to, or subtracting to adding the opposite. Combine like terms. Yep. Okay. So I know some of you don't do this. I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to combine like terms. So I'm going to first do 20 plus -16b plus 5, -20 plus -11b. Combining like terms, I have the 20 and the 5. So this will be a -16b plus 25. You could have had 25 first plus a -16b equals the -20 plus the -11b. Now I have variables on both sides. So I'm going to get rid of the variable on the right by adding 11b. -16 plus 11 is a -5b plus 25 is equal to the -20. I now have a two-step equation. So I'm going to undo the add 25 by subtracting 25. So we have -5b is equal to a -45. And then divide by the -5. And we get b is equal to 9. B is equal to 9. Now on number 10, notice we have decimals. Okay? So hopefully you have your calculators, because I know I'm going to use my calculator. Okay? So 1, combine like terms, don't have it. 2, eliminate the variable on the right side. So to eliminate the -10.4, I have to add 10.4. Now, I am going to rewrite this. So this is 17.51 plus a -0.1x. All I did is change my subtracting to adding the opposite there. And then when I add 10.4x, add the 10.4x, I'm going to have the 17.51 plus, when I do this, hopefully you get 10.3x equals 0. 10.3, yes? Anybody? Okay. So we get the 10.3x. Now we have a two-step equation. So we're going to subtract the 17.51. So this will be 10.3x is equal to a -17.51. And then we have to divide by the 10.3. And we will get x equals a negative 17.51 divided 10.3 equals negative 1.7. If you did this on a calculator and you get a bunch of numbers that carry out on the problem, you probably made a mistake on the IXL when you get to the IXL. Okay, so we get a negative 1.7. Questions? Okay, let's take a look at number 11. Number 11, the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite it so it's adding the opposite. Okay, that's going to be my first step. Rewrite it so it's adding the opposite. So I have a negative 8.49 plus negative 4.9. Okay, so that's the first thing I did. Second thing, are there any terms to combine on the same side? No. Third thing then, eliminate the variable on the right side. So to eliminate the variable on the right side, we're going to add 3.1x and then add the 3.1x. I'll have the negative 8.49 when I do this, plus a negative 1.8x equals 10.95. So I get a negative 1.8x here. Now, to get rid of the negative 8.49, I have to add 8.49. Add 8.49. Add the 8.49. This zeroes out. You have to remember this negative. Negative 1.8x is equal to, and then that is 10.95 plus 8.49, and I get 1944. Then my last step is divide by the negative 1.8. Remember, this has to be a negative here. So you're going to divide by a negative. So when you do this, you're going to get x equals a negative value. 1944 divided by, and I get 10.8, so it's a negative 10.8. Questions? All right, let's do the last one. Number 12. First of all, are there any terms I can combine? Oh, I guess that's not the last one. Terms I can combine, yes, and I'm going to rewrite it so that I'm changing my subtracting to adding the opposite while I'm combining those two terms. So this will be a negative 15.63 plus a negative 8.1c. Then I'm going to do that math. Equals 8.42 minus 12.5 is a negative 4.08, and then subtracting plus a negative 7.4c. So I combined and I rewrote everything so it's adding the opposite. Second step then is to eliminate the variable term on the right side. To do that, I'm going to add 7.4c. add the 7.4c. So this will be a negative 15.63. When I add this here, this will be plus a negative, that 0.7. C equals the negative 4.08. Now I have a two-step equation. So my two-step equation, I'm going to add the 15.63. This zeroes out. Remember the negative here. 0.7c equals 1155. And then divide by the negative. And whoops. This is a negative, so I have to divide by a negative. My answer is going to end up being negative 1155 divided by 0.7. Questions? Anybody? All right, I'm not going to do the last one. I think hopefully you got the idea of what we're doing here. So go ahead and get started on your IXLs. The first ones, remember, are probably going to look a little bit more like these, but as you go through it, they're going to keep getting harder and bigger. Okay? So IXL Y12. You'll have today and tomorrow to complete them. Okay, today and tomorrow to complete Wednesday test or quiz. Always write it on a separate sheet of paper, showing your work. Write the problems down, show your work. Now, you could possibly do the combined like terms and the step from your computer to your paper. You could also do the change, subtracting to adding the opposites from the computer to your paper. Okay? Go ahead. Separate sheet of paper, show your work.